everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Tonight we are going to be talking about sleep training. Did I sleep train either of my kids? Cry it out method, medication, pros and cons in my opinion, because I have one, I sleep trained both, but I have one that I did it later with, and then another that I've pretty much done it right from birth with. Hear me out before you come for me, okay? So for those of you who don't know, I am Connelly McCaskill. My husband and I have two daughters, Branton, who is 4 years old, she's 4 and a half, and Baylor Ann, who is 16 months. Branton, there are pros and cons to each of my children and how they sleep. Okay, so Branton was born in 2014. I was 22 years old, and I told y'all in my first get to know me video that I really didn't start with YouTube until like later. I think I started watching ASMR videos. If you don't know what ASMR is, you're missing out. But I started watching ASMR videos when she was like 6 weeks old, and I really didn't get really into YouTube until I picked up fitness in June after she was born in February. So there was no YouTubing for me about like sleep training or anything. There was not. I didn't know any of that, and YouTube really wasn't thriving as much then, I don't think, because smart TVs were not a thing. Like, I freaking sound ancient, but it's just true. You know, that was almost 5 years ago. Well, when I was pregnant, that was 5 years ago. So, you know, there was, sorry, I'm gonna cross my legs. There was like none of that, y'all. And my sister had not had a child at that point, so it was like just me learning for myself. I did have a Moses basket that went beside my bed, but there were no halo bassinets. There were no snooze. There was no DOHM. And if there were, I don't think there was, because I didn't hear about those until I was pregnant the second time, 3.5-ish years later. So I did have a Moses basket that got put beside my bed. And the hospital where I delivered both of my children, y'all, my phone is going like insane. Anyway, rude. In the hospital where I delivered both of my children, there is no nursery. The hospital where I delivered has the best NICU in the state, and that was like, woo, for me, okay? But there's no nursery. As soon as you have the baby, you put it on your chest, he or she, on your chest, skin to skin for an hour, and girl, that baby is yours. There's no, that baby's yours. So, after I had Branton, she would sleep right here in my arm. She slept there in the hospital, and, long story short, I was breastfeeding, or I pumped with both of my kids because Branton would not latch. I was trying to breastfeed, it wasn't working out, but she slept in the bed with Mitch and I until she was 4 months old. At 4 months old, Mitch basically said, either she's gonna sleep in here or I'm gonna sleep in here because I freaking hate this. He hated it the whole time. He just said he felt like he was gonna crush her, that he was not comfortable with it. He was so scared, like y'all, and this is dead serious. Like, Mitch had never even heard of shaking baby syndrome. Like, the nurse was talking to us as first time parents, letting us know, like, you know, if you ever just feel like you need a breather, just walk away, whatever. And Mitch was like, that's a thing? Like, he had, you know, he had no idea. He had never been around kids, like, nothing. So he was just scared to death that something bad was gonna happen. And I mean, and y'all, co-sleeping is not for everybody. I did not do it with my second child. I'll get to that. But, you know, bad things happen all the time. So I knew where he was coming from. I was just, you know, I was a first-time mom. You know, and and not that if you're a first-time, like, I don't care if you've had 12 kids. If you want them to sleep with you, like, sister, you do you. Brother, you do you. Whatever. And, so yeah, he basically said whatever. And the thing about it was for me, Branton, I made the mistake, and I say mistake, and I'll get into why. I made the mistake of rocking her. I would literally, like, she would be here, and I would shake my arm. So she needed there's like a hair on my face, I swear. She needed, like, some kind of motion to help get her to sleep, okay? So whenever I would get her to sleep and I would lay her down in that halo bassinet, wake up. Like, I mean, would wake up. And y'all, it was exhausting. I never had any help at night with my kids. With Branton, my mom stayed with us for a week because I asked her to. But Mitch has always had a wake up, go to work kind of job. So I think he went back to work like 3 days after I had Branton, y'all. So I never asked him to take night shift. I never, and plus, like, he didn't know what to do any more than I did. But, so when you're like, you know, sleep deprived, you have no idea what you're getting into when you have your first child. Like, you're so excited, it's the best feeling in the world, but literally you don't know what tired is. When you have more than one child, like, you set yourself up because you know what's coming. But with that first child, like, you don't know exhaustion. You flat out don't know exhaustion. So her hitting that Moses basket, waking back up, like, I didn't want to deal with it. I was tired, you know, whatever. Her sleeping with me was easier. And one night, y'all, because I slept with her, Mitch slept on one side of the bed, I slept on the other, but I did not put her in this arm beside Mitch because I was like, you're not going to crush her, you know? So I put her in this arm. Well, y'all, and like, judge me all you want, thank God she did not get hurt, but she fell off the bed. And it scared the crap out of me, obviously. It was just a thud. And I mean, y'all know as mamas, you have like cat-like reflexes. So like, I think I grabbed her almost before she completely hit the ground. But like, between that and Mitch being like, you know, I'm not even going to sleep in here anymore, you know, which is not, you know, the best when you're married. So, that did it for me. So I put Branton in her crib. Now, the thing about Branton was it literally took us like an hour at best to get her to sleep every night. You had to rock her. You had to, I mean, and the whole time you were rocking her, I am not kidding, she would bow her back, fight you. Like, she has never ever wanted to go to sleep. She thinks she's gonna miss something. She feels, you know, I don't know, but she has always been like super hard to get to go to sleep, okay? So you would spend like an hour getting her to sleep, and then you'd lay her down and she would touch the crib and she would freaking wake up. Like, it was so frustrating, so frustrating. And especially again, as a first time parent, you have no idea like that these times are short when it's done correctly. I'll get to that, and not saying you're an incorrect parent, but for me, I learned. Mama's had like, boop, easy breezy the second time, okay? But you have no idea. Like, you're winging it, okay? You are freaking winging it, okay? So it was just so frustrating, y'all. It was so frustrating. So Mitch and I, you know, when teething came around, we tried bourbon on the gums, I think like once, twice max. And y'all, if you've seen, you know, my first addiction or my addiction videos, you know, I'm an alcoholic. That just did not sit well with my soul. I was like, you know, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. And then I saw, because back then, y'all, there was no, well, this is CVS brand, but there was no ZARBEE'S children's melatonin. There was no VICK'S melatonin. There was no back then. But a friend of mine posted on Instagram, she had a little boy, and her pediatrician, because I guess she's like 6 months old at this point, Branton, I mean. And her son was about the same age, about the same weight. You know, I talked back and forth with her, but her pediatrician recommended giving him a little bit of melatonin just for like a few nights to get him in the routine of going to bed at a certain time, because babies do not need to be going to bed when they're newborns and you're trying to get them to sleep for a stretch. 11 o'clock or something is fine when you go to bed, because y'all need to be sleeping at the same time so you as parents can be getting the most sleep. But when they're, you know, older and they should be sleeping, you know, they don't need to be going to bed at 11. My kids right now go to bed at 7. When I got in the shower tonight at 7:04, Baylor Ann was passed out and Branton was already in bed. Y'all, they had dinner, they had baths, bedtime stories, prayers, and Branton was watching her iPad. And when I got out of the shower at 7:12, she was asleep. So kids need to go to bed. Anyway. So her pediatrician recommended giving her little boy just a little bit of melatonin just to kind of get him in the swing of things, because if you let your child go to bed at 11, you know, for, or 10 for however long, you know, their body kind of gets in a routine of that. So just to get the child in the routine of going to bed, try melatonin. Melatonin does not like knock you out. I had also tried when Brandon was teething, if you mix Tylenol and Benadryl, that can make a Tylenol PM. But I also didn't really like that. I don't know, I just like felt bad because Tylenol PMs like knock me out, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't really like that either. So long story short, you can buy melatonin tablets in 1 milligram, 3 milligram, 5 milligram, and 10 milligram. So I bought a 1 milligram tablet and I would cut it into fourths, okay? So like, I mean, one of these, I guess this is a 1 milligram tablet. Ugh, they're falling everywhere. Y'all, it is small, okay? Yep, so you can see it. And I would cut this tiny little pill into a fourth, okay? And then I would smash it up, put it on I have a little mortar and pestle, smash it up and like just rub it on her tongue or in her little mouth or whatever. My mom, being the pharmacist that she is, was like, you know, there's no research behind that. I don't like it, you know. Like, how do you know if you're giving her the right amount? Excuse me, there's no dosing, you know, whatever. And if you look at the back of this right now, it says 3 to 5 years, 6 to 12 years, and 12 years and older. And then on the back of this melatonin, it just says to start with 1 and then give 2. It has no age. Well, I guess the front of it does. Ages 4 and up. So it really didn't say, like, there was, you know, there was nothing about it then. Okay, and don't judge me because I literally gave her a fourth of 1, so 0.25 milligrams, okay? And my mom just, she kind of scared me. She was like, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, there's no research behind that. Because she studied up, you know, because she's a hospital pharmacist and all, and has, you know, the database on her computer. And, you know, whatever. So that is when we really got into the cried out method. I talked to our pediatrician about it. And I remember having my hand on her doorknob at 14 minutes because I'd been laying in the bed in our room with Mitch. And all of my hair was standing up, you know, my baby's in there screaming, and I was watching her on the monitor. I knew, like, she wasn't on fire or anything, even though I think she thought she was, because she was, like, blood-curdling screaming. And I hated it. Like, I freaking hated it. I had my hand on her doorknob literally at 14 minutes, and she stopped. I didn't even have to open the door. And y'all, that went on for either, like, 5 nights or less. Like, I don't remember exactly, but I know it was not a week. I know it was not. And literally, and some nights were better than others, but y'all, we did the 15-minute rule where we would go in and just make sure, does she have a fever? Is she soiled? Is she wet? You know, we knew she wasn't hungry, but, like, you know, is something wrong? And once you've done that mental checklist of all the things, we would leave. But every 15 minutes, we were told to, I've heard 10 minutes, I've heard 12 minutes. We did the 15 minutes. You go in and check on them and you reassure your baby, like, I have not left you. You're not abandoned. Mommy's here, daddy's here, whatever. And you just check on them, you know, and that's that. And that's what we did at home. Now, with Branton, when we would go out, we were in the mindset, like, we're not letting this kid run our lives. Like, you know, we're the parents, she's the child. Like, if we want to go out to dinner with our family or whatever, we want to go to our parents for Sunday dinner, or, you know, we want to go across the street to Elena's house, my best friend, like, whatever. So I would just, like, literally have to rock her and, like, shake her and, like, all this crap because she was, like, so, I did that. And, like, now you hear, like, they have all these rockin' plays and people put them in that damn snoo that, like, does all the things and all that. Girl, no, I don't recommend that to anybody. Like, if that's what you like, do it, okay? The Halo Bassinet I had with Baylor Ann vibrated, but girl, that thing got turned off. Do not do it because you are setting yourself up. Kids, don't forget that kind of stuff, okay? But Brandon has always been my sunshine. She saved my life. I owe her my life. I love her. But y'all, getting her to sleep was like pulling teeth. It was terrible. It was just terrible. It was so frustrating. y'all, oh my gosh. But the thing about Branton, though, is a pro of her. She can fall asleep on the beach. She can fall asleep on the lake. She can fall asleep, you know, she fell asleep at Disney on Ice. The fireworks are going off and stuff, and she's asleep. She can fall asleep in a movie theater. She can fall asleep wherever. And that really has nothing to do with sleep training. That's just a pro of her. She's really hard to get to sleep, but like if she's tired and like where there's motion or something, she'll go to sleep. Now, see again, that's the motion thing though. Baylor Ann, I never did the motion thing. I'm getting ahead of myself. So Branton still to this day, and I don't know if it's because I rocked her or what, she is still really hard to get to sleep. Last year when she started 3K, I was a freaking Nazi. 8 o'clock, I don't care if we're at my parents' or we're coming home before 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock's bedtime. Stories, everything's done by 8. Lights off, 8 o'clock, no exceptions, like, meh. Because before that, she literally would stay up till 11, till midnight. Till like all these hours, because like I said, when she was a baby, she just never wanted to go to sleep, didn't want to miss anything. And y'all, and I'm telling you, until I had Baylor Ann, when Branton was like almost 3.5, she had a rocking chair. She liked to be rocked, like, and I do miss that because Baylor Ann doesn't like to be rocked. She doesn't like to be held unless she's sick. She doesn't like, she's not really a lover, and I know that too comes with age, like cuddling in the bed and stuff, but honest to God, like I don't think I would trade it just because it's been so hard with Branton. So that is actually why I do have these two melatonins. This one's a tablet, this one's a gummy. And Branton does take this often. This is our favorite. It tastes really good. It's melatonin with chamomile and lavender, and it helps your child fall asleep naturally, drug-free, and non-habit forming. If Branton has taken a nap, it doesn't matter 4 minutes of a nap, girl, she ain't going to sleep. If she falls asleep at school when they have nap time, normally she just plays quietly because Branton stopped taking naps when she was 2 years old. My friend Elena, her son's still like 4 and he takes naps. My niece still takes 2-hour naps and she's 4, and I'm like, okay, well, no, can't relate. So it's not every single night, it's not weeks on end, but if she's overtired and like bouncing off the walls crazy, melatonin. If she has had a nap, melatonin. I've checked with her doctor, say what you want, judge me or don't. It doesn't knock her socks off, it just helps her fall asleep, y'all, because I'm telling you, I kind of contributed to me rocking her or whatever, because she is just, she'll sleep in the car, she'll sleep, if we're moving, she can go to sleep, and that goes back to the rocking and the rocking chair and the shaking and the everything, okay? No. Fast forward to Baylor Ann. Baylor Ann has never, I mean, she may have fallen asleep on my chest 1 or 2 times, but Baylor Ann has never co-slept. She's never slept with us, same thing. She slept in the Halo Bassinet a little bit, swaddled. I do not recommend Velcro swaddles, by the way, because when you pull them open, they're super loud. Don't recommend. I did use those with Branton, but don't recommend those. But back then, there was not all these things that there is now, and I'll get into that. She slept in the Halo Bassinet, but she really didn't like it because it's in this oval shape, and then you put this little baby in there, and she just didn't feel safe or secure, even though she was swaddled. Just, you know, your womb is so small, you know, she just, it wasn't compact enough for her. So, this video has already been on 19 minutes. I will hurry up. So I put her in the rock and play. It was Branton's rock and play, and I used to have it on vibrate for Branton, and I would literally be asleep and lean over and like rock that joker. I'm not playing. No, no. This thing with Baylor Ann, I didn't even put batteries in it. No, the rock and play did not vibrate. It did not do anything. I put her in her room in that rocking play at 3 weeks old. I'm not kidding. I went into her room every 2 hours to feed her. I am not kidding. I have slept on the floor in her room beside that rock and play because I would not have her in my room. It wasn't because I didn't love her. It wasn't from an unsensitive place. It was just, when you're a parent, I guess a mom, because my husband can sleep through anything, you get these, I call them like radar ears. Like, I can hear anything. If she would, I don't know, bat an eyelash, I heard it. Like, and I realized with Branton, and I remember realizing the quality of sleep that I got when Branton went into her own room versus being in my room was just insane. Like, you think you're sleeping, but you're really not. And your baby's really not either, because they get used to hearing you and your husband toss and turn and everything, and you get used to hearing them coughing, sneezing, passing gas, like whatever you're doing, y'all get used to hearing that. So I would sleep, I didn't always sleep in there, but I fell asleep on that white fur rug in her room 3, 4, 5 times, like whatever. I went in there for every feeding, everything. I never rocked her. I never laid her down to sleep. Nothing. I would lay her in that little, I would lay her down groggy, but not asleep, okay? And with Branton, we did not have sound machines. Each of my girls, I'll link them below, have DOHMs, like a DOHM, a DOHM white noise machine in their room, and you'll always hear it when I film, because I film at night. I have a sound machine in my hallway upstairs because my dog's toenails, me down here filming, like whatever, I don't want to run the chance of waking them up. Branton did not have a sound machine. BASSINET does. 100% recommend getting a sound machine, okay? Nothing crazy. I really don't like the rain, and the rain's okay, but there's like frogs, and I do like the crickets in the summer, but just good old white noise is like, will suffice. And those DOHMs are expensive. They're like 50 bucks, but they're worth it. So Baylor started in her room at 3 weeks old, okay, and I put her in her crib at 6 weeks old. Y'all, to get her to sleep through the night, I tried, it's called a Zen sleep sack. It has a little egg on the front, and it has like some kind of weights, because like when you fall asleep with your hand on your baby or something, I don't know. Okay, I've tried all that. I tried Halo sleep sacks. We tried all the fancy swaddles, all the things, and like, you know, I don't know that it made that much of a difference. Like, Baylor did not start sleeping through the night until she was 6 months old. I guess around, and that's like a full, like right now she'll sleep from 7 p.m. till 7, even 8 a.m. sometimes. And I know that may sound crazy to a lot of people, because I hear that a lot, like, what? But I don't know. Y'all keep in mind, some people are just like super lucky. Like my sister, my niece has slept through the night like since she went home. Okay, my sister used to have to wake her up to feed her. Can't relate. So I guess around 3-ish months old, I did not let her cry it out per se, not for 15 minutes, but I would let her fuss for a few minutes, okay? Judge me, I don't care. I knew she was fed, I knew she was whatever. And y'all, I mean, I guess that was more or less the 5-minute portion of the cry it out. I would let her fuss, and then she would, I don't know, my thing just cut off. I guess my video thing cuts off. I don't know. So I guess I would let her cry, and it wasn't really even crying. It was just like grumpy, like kind of ticked off, like groaning. Like it wasn't like crying. I would just let her fuss, I guess, for 5 minutes or so, you know, and I would go in and check on her, and she would be fine. As long as I knew, you know, I had literally done my mental checklist. She's fed, she's clean, she's everything. Yeah. And so still, I mean, oh my goodness, still, and still currently, y'all, she's 16 months old. If she's going through a growth spurt or something, she may still wake up, but it just, she'll literally, I can time it, cry for maybe 2 minutes, like maybe. And it's just like, I don't know if she had a bad dream, if she passed gas, if she, you know, just rolled over and realized like, where's my mom, or like what? But for the most part, I let her, I'm gonna say fuss it out from like, and I'm not gonna say from 3 to 6 months, because that's not true. That would be like crazy to me. I started the fuss it out thing at like 3 months old, and it would maybe be 5 minutes. Now when she woke up in the middle of the night for the feed, I got my butt up and I still fed her, and that was like twice a night, then down to 1 a night. And then y'all, she would sleep from like 7 until 3 or 4, and she would still need a milk. So I would have to come downstairs, heat up breast milk, whatever, and take it upstairs. Now, I stopped pumping at 4 months, but I had enough breast milk because I was like a dairy cow in my freezer and took her through 7 months. So after 7 months, she went to formula, and our pediatrician told us that if she was having 24 ounces of formula a day, there was no reason that she would not be sleeping through the night, that her caloric intake was high enough that it would hold her. If she was waking up, it was just habit. And that's true. Like I said earlier, if you get used to going to bed at a certain time or waking up at a certain time for work, oftentimes your body just has an internal clock and you'll wake up. Same thing for children. So I kept that in mind, and like I said, unless she's going through a growth spurt or she's like teething and she cries for more than like 2 minutes, I know she may need a milk. And now obviously she was on whole milk, then on 2%, now she's on 1% cow's milk. She may again like wake up and just fuss for a few minutes, and like I said, it's because she, you know, I don't know, had a bad dream, rolled over, I don't know, had gas pain, like I don't know. You know, we wake up to get situated in bed. They're the same. So yeah, she's literally been... My camera keeps cutting off. It says it's getting too hot. But y'all, I do not recommend any kind of swinging, any kind of anything. The only bad thing about Baylor Ann, and it has nothing to do with sleep training, it's just how she is. She will not sleep anywhere but in her crib. She might fall asleep in the car, but for like 1 or 2 minutes, and as soon as that car stops or anything, she's awake. She will not sleep at my parents', and if she does, she'll fuss, and then she'll fall asleep, and then she'll be up at like the crack of dawn. Same at my mother-in-law's. But again, that has nothing to do with me rocking her or anything like that. That's the same way my niece is. Like I said earlier, Branton can sleep anywhere. She just has a hard time getting to sleep. Baylor Ann, you literally lay her down and kiss her goodnight, walk out of the room, and that's it. I don't see her again until the next morning. And that is why I think sleep training is 100% worth it. Do not rock your babies. And that sounds horrible, but don't rock them till they're asleep. Rock them till they're groggy, okay? Don't rock them. So I guess I did rock Baylor Ann, but only until she was groggy. Don't ever rock them completely asleep, because they'll get used to that. When you lay them down, it's up. Don't ever vibrate them, snoo them. In my opinion, don't do any of that. Things I recommend 100%, if your child is of age and they are having a hard time getting to sleep, try melatonin. These are great in their tablet. They're definitely cheaper. The CVS brand is like less than $7. We've tried the ZARBEE'S brand. They're purple. These are white. These are dye-free. But the ZARBEE'S are really sour. They have a gummy tablet too, ZARBEE'S does. But these just taste better. These are the by VICK'S, and they are a berry flavor. And the first time I gave Branton these, she said, ooh, these are good. So if you have a child that's of age, try melatonin to help them get to sleep. Highly, highly recommend. Things I cannot live without. When your baby's small, put a little aquarium in their crib. Baylor Ann would just turn it on and off. So if she did wake up at night, just out of habit, she learned that her fish were her friends. And she would do that versus crying out for me. Highly recommend that. Ours was by Little Einstein, Baby Einsteins. Halo sleep sacks. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Girl, y'all, I cannot even believe I just forgot this. What was a game changer? And I would hold it up if I had it, but I gave it to my sister because she's about to have a little boy. Like in the next month, I die. Well, he'll be here in less than a month, actually. Beside the point. Dr. Merlin's magic sleep suit. Jesus. All hail. My mom called it the Michelin Man suit. Girl, I don't know if it's because they're so snug or whatever. Cannot recommend that enough. That really, really helped. I told you I tried the Zen sack with the egg on it. I tried the Halo sleep sacks. As far as like blanket, when I put her in that Merlin sleep suit, she was literally like stiff. But y'all, she slept through the night. And I had her in that until she grew out of it, and it got like hot as Hades outside, because here in South Carolina, it's like, I mean right now it's cold, but it's like, it just got cold like last week. And cold for us is like days like it's 60 degrees. That's like sweater weather here, okay? Merlin sleep suit. Have to have it. Have to have it, okay? Sound machines are have to have, and cry it out method, do it. And I'm serious. And I have a friend whose daughter is a little bit older than Bayloran, and they have not sleep trained her yet, and she's actually the reason I'm kind of filming this. Hey girl. I mean, I've got a lot of questions about this, but I just figured since it was like near and dear to home, I would make this video. That's gonna be harder because she's obviously older, and you can't really spoil a baby. And not that she's not a baby, but she's old enough to know if I cry for X amount of time, mom or dad's gonna come in here. So just prepare yourself for that. You know, be all in, because when you commit to doing it, you cannot give in to her. Like, give in after 15 minutes, but that's it, and then leave, and then go back and leave. And so you may not get any sleep for like days, and just be prepared for that. But that's still kind of the same, like, even when they were little, like with Branton, I told you it lasted a few days. Bayloran, I kind of like eased her into it, but she didn't know any different. Like, I never taught her any other than that. So I'm serious. Like, sound machine, magic sleep suit if you have a baby, melatonin if your kid is of age, and don't rock them, don't shake them, don't vibrate them. Or don't rock them till they're asleep. I'm sorry, I keep saying don't rock them, but like now you can control rock and plays from your phone, and you can like rock them and vibrate them and music them and all that. Whatever you start them out doing, they're gonna expect that. Okay, y'all, my camera just cut off again. It says it's getting too hot, and I really thought this was only gonna be like a 10-minute video, but I feel like I've been on here forever, so I'm gonna cut it off. But if you have any questions about cry it out method or sleep training or anything, just send me a comment, send me a message. I always link my Instagram and my Facebook below. I will link the product, and I'll try to link all the products I mentioned, sleep suits and all of the things down below. I really hope that this video helps. I know that it can be so stressful when your babies are not sleeping. Please make sure if you like this video to give it a thumbs up. Share this video if you could. Turn your bell notification on so you never miss an upload. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And please don't forget to subscribe. I love y'all, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.